weather outside is not that cold, and if you take my hand, I'll walk with you to Georgia.
What's going on, everyone? It's your girl Country with Celine, and I am back. Happy New Year, everyone, too. I mean, 2024 off to a great start. And to bring more Country with Celine to you, please welcome Jordana Bryant. Jordana, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm great. How about you?
I'm doing well, thanks for asking. So, like I was just mentioning, it was the winter break. I mean, people were going on vacations, and I saw you were just in the Caribbean. How was that?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. We went to this island, Anguilla, and I had never been there before. It's a really tiny island of like 15,000 people. You can drive it in like 30 minutes. And it was just so fun to, just be by the beach and take a few days to kind of just do nothing and read and write some songs. And it was really such a blast. I am wishing I was there right now.
Honestly, all-inclusive vacations are the bomb. I miss that so much.
Mhm.
It's so much fun. And like 30 minutes on an island, like to drive from one end to the other, that's unheard of. That's a
I know.
small island.
It's crazy. I mean, my mom actually, she had a friend from college that moved there, and he had a son. I was talking to his son who grew up there, and he said he had to take a ferry to a different island for high school, which is just insane. I cannot imagine it.
Just take in like the time that you have to get up, get dressed, drive to the ferry,
Mhm.
take the ferry across, and then go from there to school. That's just
I know it's mind-boggling, especially, like growing up in a small town where, my school was like a 3-minute drive from my house. Like I can't picture that. But at the same time, you are kind of living in paradise. So maybe it's worth it.
That's very true. Okay, so holiday break, you had a great time in the Caribbean, but now you're back. But I want to kind of just bring it back a little bit. So I know you released a Christmas tune, and I watched the video for it, and you looked like you had a blast. I mean, driving around in your Jeep with your girls, like how much fun was that?
Oh my gosh, it was such a blast. We were talking about, what should the video for this song be? And I was thinking about him and I, kind of thought that since the song is called Driving Home for Christmas, what would be more fun than just having a bunch of your friends in the car and, singing along and jamming out and having fun. And we drove down this really beautiful road called Morin Road in Nashville, or just outside of Nashville. And there's a bunch of like farmland and estates like Alan Jackson's old estate. Like so many big country artists have, land there, and it's such a beautiful road. And it was so fun to get to see the, different houses and farms. And it was a really fun time shooting the video.
That's called Morning Road. So,
Moran.
Moran, okay, you know what? Good to know. Next time I go to Nashville, I'm definitely taking
Yeah.
a drive down that road.
Oh yeah, it's definitely worth it.
Okay, good. Yeah, thank you for that tip. And I'm sure people listening too, when they head down to Nashville, they're definitely gonna want to check that out as well.
Yeah.
It was funny though. I was like wondering because I saw you guys driving around. I'm like, are they just driving in circles? I'm like, are they going around like the block a couple times? Like people are probably looking like, what's going on? But if you actually had like an idea in mind of where exactly you were gonna go, then that's a different story.
Yeah, exactly. As we were thinking about it, because we were actually driving the car while filming, I was like, we should definitely make sure to go to a place where there's not a lot of traffic,
Yeah.
where we're not like worried about, hitting another car. And so I figured, a quiet street would be probably the best thing rather than driving in Nashville traffic. So we got a little out of town and then started shooting it.
Yeah, well, that's perfect. Well, it turned out to be a great music video, and especially driving home for Christmas, it's so perfect. Your friends, Christmas time, being with them, because that's what Christmas is all about. I mean, especially when you live
Exactly.
abroad, you miss going back home and like spending time with like your family and your friends. So to be able to kind of package that and have something to keep, I really love that.
Hmm.
It's beautiful.
Oh yeah, it was really fun.
Awesome. And now, okay, debut album. You released it last year, self-titled EP. So take me through that. I want to know why these songs and why did you want to package this up and give it out to country music listeners? Like what was so special about these ones to you?
Yeah, I really wanted to release an EP because I feel like when you're releasing a body of work, you get to, really say more about yourself, both as an artist and a person, as opposed to just one song, which, kind of is only one side of you. And so, with this debut EP, I really wanted, it to feel cohesive and feel like it represented me and, where I was at that stage. And I feel like what kind of ties the 6 songs together is that regardless of the topic, they all kind of have a little bit of positivity in them and a little optimism, which is, a big part of who I am. And I'm definitely, someone who always likes to try to find, the good in whatever, you're dealing with, whatever you're going through. And so I love that even, the breakup songs feel anthemic and, upbeat. And I love that there's a few songs on there that are, non-relationship songs too. They're just kind of about life in general. There's a song called Holy that's a faith-based song that's really special to me. There's a song called Breathe that's, more about mental health and, taking time to center yourself and remind yourself that whatever you're dealing with, you're going to get through it. And so I'm really excited that those 6 songs are out. And it was, really a fun process getting to record and write and put out my first EP.
You have such a light energy, and you can even notice that in videos that you make too. Whereas, like, you're talking about a sad song, hey, like, I wrote this song, it's about so and so. But like the way you are wording it and the way like we can sense like how your body is, it's just you're positive. It's that's so nice to like see because I mean, it's very hard to be so positive in this world nowadays. And for you to be like that, it's a breath of fresh air. It really is.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Well, I feel like as music is such a special thing because it, when you hear a song that, shares what you're also feeling, I feel like it can really make you feel less alone and, remind you that other people have felt that and do feel that and that, you're going to get through it. And I think music can be a really incredible tool to, bring us together and, make us feel better when we're going through something tough, but also, make the good times even better as well.
Yep, you're completely correct. And I was just looking at a TikTok last night and it was talking about Kelsey Ballerini's song Penthouse. And like she wrote like all these songs off of that EP, off of a divorce that she went through that was like traumatizing for her. And she didn't expect the response to get, but so many people can connect to something. And that's like the beauty of being an artist. You put out body of work for yourself, but so many listeners can connect to that and they can relate to exactly what you're going through. Then you realize that you're not alone and they're not alone. And honestly, that's the beauty of country music. I find it's such storytelling and it's the top tier genre. I'm just going to say that.
I agree. I completely agree.
You dropped a couple new singles too, like after that. So I want to talk 2024. What can we expect from Jordana this year?
Yeah, so I am really excited. I've been working on a ton of new music that's going to be coming out really soon. There's might even be something coming in the next few weeks. But I'm really excited about these new songs that I've been working on. I feel like they're they're something that I'm really pumped to put out. They're very honest and really just open about where I'm at right now and I'm really, really excited to put them out. And I'm also going to be doing some more touring this spring. I'm really thrilled about it. We might be even, putting out a project that we're going to tour, and so I'm really looking forward to 2024.
Oh, it's going to be a great year for you. Now, these songs, did you tease them anywhere yet, or have they been like hush hush, like you haven't brought them?
Yeah, I had a handful of songs that I was really excited about, and I started, kind of lightly teasing them to, to see which songs should we put out first, which songs should be singles. And I'm really, it was really incredible to see this response. And that's definitely been something that's helped, guide me and my team into which songs to prioritize. And so I've been getting in the studio. I have another date next week to get in and record another song. And I'm really excited because I feel like, when you get to kind of share your songs on social media, it helps, it helps you kind of figure out which songs, your audience is really reacting to and which songs, can people relate to. And that's, such a special thing. And so I've really used that as, a guidepost of, which songs to prioritize and which songs to try to finish the quickest. And I'm really excited to, start putting some out.
Hey, that's like the beauty of social media because especially for artists, you guys can put out so much music and see how the listeners are going to react to it, whether they love a song or whether they
Yeah.
hate a song. And so many artists have, they've got, that's their platform, and that's where they were given their start.
Mhm.
Because it's very hard, obviously, to make it in Nashville. We know Nashville's like the mecca of country music, and there's so many talented country singers. But like, if you build your brand properly, which you have completely built your brand properly on your socials, you can grow it to something that you could never have imagined. And it's such a tool, and it's such a blessing in disguise in a sort of way, because as much as most of us don't like social media because of all the negativity, there's so much positive that it brings. And if you know how to utilize it the proper way, it's perfect.
It really is such an incredible tool, and I feel like, before social media, you were kind of, in some ways, releasing songs with, kind of blindly with the hope that, people would enjoy them, that people would, that the songs would resonate for people. But I feel like you have such a special opportunity with social media to, ask your fans and ask your community, what are you going, even before you start writing, what are you guys going through right now? Let's talk about, like, right now I'm dealing with this. What are you dealing with? And then you take that into the writing room. Someone says something that sparks something, and you take that into the writing room. You write about your own experiences, but you combine theirs in, and then you are able to create music that really is not just your story, but it's, you and your community together. And I think that's so special.
You'll never have nothing not to write about. That's for sure.
Exactly.
And so
Exactly.
2024, honestly, Jordan, it's going to be a great year for you. But let's take it back even a little bit more to the beginning of Jordana Bryant. So, how did you get into music? Right now, folks, if you can see, she's in a studio, and that is in her house, by the way, putting that out there. So, going off of that, explain like how exactly you got into music.
Yeah, so growing up, I would always just hear music around my house. My dad grew up playing guitar in a bunch of country rock bands, and so I would kind of just hear him playing guitar around the house when he would get home from work, and I would just start singing along and making up random words and melodies, and that's really how I fell in love with songwriting. I kind of just stumbled into it. It was something that just was so automatic that, I didn't even really know what I was doing. It just was something that I stumbled into and fell in love with. And so I would, start writing songs and singing along to what he was playing. And then probably when I was about 10 or 11, my dad started teaching me how to play guitar, and that really opened up songwriting for me because I didn't have to wait for him to get home from work. I could, as soon as I got home from school, pick up the guitar and just start writing. And I would spend every afternoon and evening, writing as many songs as I could. And then probably when I want to say like 14, I started posting some videos of some covers on YouTube, and a producer in Nashville, Seth Mosley, saw some of those videos and invited me to come down to Nashville and meet up with him and record a few songs. And that was really my first experience recording songs in a studio, and I absolutely loved it. It was such a cool process to, record with him, and then to get to do some co-writing sessions later on the trip. And it was really an awesome experience. And then COVID hit probably like 3 weeks later. So it kind of paused my ability to come back to Nashville for a little while, but I started doing co-writes on Zoom. I, started posting on Instagram and TikTok and going live for like an hour or two every night, and just, trying to, create a community where we could share how we were feeling, especially during that time when a lot of us were feeling isolated. My goal was just to share some music in hopes that that would, kind of add some positivity to our days. And it was really incredible to see how that grew. And then in the next few years, I just continued, traveling back and forth to Nashville, writing a bunch, recording a bunch. And about a year and a half ago, I moved to Nashville, and I've been putting out a bunch of music, and it's just been such a fun process.
Well, congratulations on moving to Nashville, because that's a big step, moving anywhere for that matter.
Thank you, thank you. Well, I am very grateful. My parents moved with me. At the time, I was 16 when I moved, and so it would have been probably a lot to move, that far away for, at that age. But my mom's kind of full time with me in Nashville, and my dad comes back and forth. And so I'm very grateful, to have them there with me. And they're such an incredible support system. I'm really lucky to have them in my life.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Now, your dad, so you were saying he played the guitar. So obviously you guys would
Mhm.
sing songs together. So I want to know, did you guys put on like little performances for like your family?
Yes, my mom and brother would sometimes complain that there was a guitar in almost every room of the house. My
Wow.
dad said, wherever inspiration struck, we needed to have an instrument. So our living room would often turn into a stage, and we would always, be recording. I think my mom would get upset sometimes because we would just press record on the voice memo so that whatever I started singing and writing, that we caught it and that we didn't lose it. And then, my mom would feel like she couldn't talk because it was going to be in the recording. And then she was like, I can't have a conversation in my own house.
No.
So there were definitely a few moments of frustration, but it was such a special thing getting to grow up with a dad who has the same love of music as me and has the same passion. It's really, really special, and I feel really grateful that I get to pursue this opportunity. My dad, growing up, his family didn't have a lot of opportunities, so he kind of after high school had to sell his guitars to pay for college and help out his family. And so I feel very, very lucky that I get now to pursue music in a way that he didn't, and get to move to Nashville and do it full time.
Well, I can say he's definitely very, very proud of you, and he gets to live his dream through you.
I'm very grateful, and he's such an incredible supporter. I'm really grateful for that.
Have you ever, forgive me if you have done this, I just have never seen a video, but have you ever brought your dad up on stage and like got him to play guitar?
Yeah, there's a few writers rounds that I've done in Nashville, that, I've brought him up, but I think my dream would be to, one day I hope to play the Opry, and my dream would be getting to bring him up for a song there because, we've always loved watching videos of the Opry, and any chance we get going to see it in Nashville, and I think that would be really special. So hopefully one day.
Impressed. Oh, I would cry. When I see that, I will literally cry. That's gonna be a beautiful, beautiful moment. That's something that you will you never forget, and your father will never ever forget. That's for
Mhm.
sure. And now musical influences. So like, who'd you listen to growing up? Were you a Dolly lover? Carrie Underwood? Are we gonna go Alan Jackson, George Strait? Who'd you grow up listening to?
I definitely grew up listening to a lot of Dolly Parton, a lot of Reba McEntire, Shania Twain, Carrie Underwood. I think her voice is just incredible, and I would spend hours listening to, her tone and trying to, hearing how she sang a song and trying to see if I could do the runs, and and I think that was definitely a big part of me trying to grow my voice was hearing her and just loving the sound that she had. And so those were a few of the women in country that I really listened a lot to. And I think I also really found it so inspiring how they really paved the way for other women in country music, and they really led an incredible and led and had incredible careers, and made an impact. And I also grew up listening to a lot of Garth Brooks. My parents are huge Garth Brooks fans. They will not stop talking about it. So I grew up listening to a ton of his music, and I love the storytelling of all of those artists. And I also grew up listening to some Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran, and
Yeah.
on the pop side, and Adele. And I really love kind of blending the storytelling of country music with the melodic influences of some other pop stuff.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, Adele too. She is Adele. Like,
Yeah,
that girl has a voice of an angel. I swear to
I
God.
know. I completely agree, and I also think that a lot of the UK pop artists have a similar storytelling nature of their music that's very similar to how country music really tells stories, and so I've loved kind of diving into that genre as well.
So you've mentioned quite a number of artists here, but if you were to pick one, who would be like your dream collaboration?
Oh, that is such a good question. I would say probably either Taylor Swift or Carrie Underwood.
Oh, okay. I thought we were gonna go Dolly here, but I like that. Taylor Swift or
Well,
Carrie Underwood.
I'm thinking of like who's like currently releasing a lot of music right now. I mean, Dolly definitely, she just released a rock album, so she's definitely releasing some stuff currently too. But I was more thinking of just like artists who are still like touring and releasing music right now. But Dolly would of course be a dream collab.
That's like a top tier collab. I mean,
Oh
you never
yeah.
know. You could put it out there in the universe and eventually
I
one day it might
Hey,
happen. You never know.
I hope so. I would love that.
Right. Taylor Swift though, that girl is killing it.
Yeah,
She kind of like faded away for a little bit and she came back banging. And the
I
things
know.
that this woman has accomplished in her life, both on the country side and the pop side now, it's unbelievable. She's one of the most influential
Hmm.
women in the world. And I feel like that's definitely a reason why so many young girls idolize her so much because of
Hmm.
everything that she's accomplished and she's even paved the way too. And
Oh,
especially with
completely.
everything that went on with like behind the scenes and she dealt with in that way. She's just smart woman.
Mhm. She's really incredible. I think she also is really she's really incredible in the way that I feel like she connects with her fans
Oh,
to an entirely different level than any other artist like that's
mhm.
living right now. I think the way that she, you know, is able to connect with her audience but also just write songs that are so authentic, that are so relatable to, what other people are going through. I think as, at the start of her career, she was writing songs that were realistically what other high schoolers were feeling. And that wasn't something that was really, um, you know, that wasn't something that was really prevalent in any music genre at that time. All of the songs in country music were about bars and drinking, and that wasn't something that's really,
No,
um, really relatable to high
so
schoolers. So I think the way that she brought a younger generation into, her writing and brought, what she was, going through into her writing is really incredible.
and even at like 26 years old, you still listen to Taylor Swift when she was in high school, still listen to Tim McGraw, Teardrops on
Oh
My
yeah,
Guitar. You can still relate to those because it's like a
for
time
sure.
capsule. It brings you right back to where you were in high school or middle school, wherever you were.
Hmm.
And like all the feelings just rush back. And she has just a way of staying so connected, like you're saying, to her listeners. But that's something that you want to do, and you're on the right track to doing it. I mean, you're still young too. You got a long way to go too. Um,
Oh,
and Jordana, before I let you go, I just want to bring up one number here. So you have 88 million, because it actually flows perfectly because we're talking about Taylor Swift. You have 88 million combined streams and views to date. So how does that make you feel knowing that so many people can relate to your stuff and just so many people love your work?
it's really incredible. I think it's so cool that we live in an age where you get to connect with people across the world through social media, and you can really make a real connection with people when you're talking with them, when you're live and when you're posting videos and you're commenting back. And I feel so grateful that I get to, share my music with people, and that we have this community where we get to, talk about what we're feeling and use music to, add some positivity to our days. And I really just feel very, very blessed to get to, be doing this as my career, this is what I would do for fun. This is what I would do as a hobby. And I feel very, very lucky to be, doing this.
Well, now you can do it as a career and you can do it for the rest of your life.
It's a dream.
It's a
It's a
dream.
dream.
Well, Jordana, you're a very bright, young, talented lady, and I wish you nothing but the best. 2024 is going to be your year. 2024, Jordana. That's what we're going to say. Everyone's been saying 2024 something, and 2024,
Yeah.
that's what it's going to be. But I'm really, really, really happy to have you here today on Country with Celine. Thank you so much for hopping on, and I can't wait to see everything you accomplish this year, young lady.
Oh, thank you so much, Celine. Thanks for having me.
Anytime.